Coming up on Mountain News at 6, a Pike County Detention Center inmate is caught in West Virginia. We'll hear from state police about the incident. And the state of Kentucky could have a designated state mushroom soon. We'll explain.
And we're keeping an eye on a line of storms pushing through eastern Kentucky. Details coming up.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
Strong to severe storms have been moving across parts of the state. Are things expected to calm down later this evening? Let's check in with First Alert meteorologist Eric Dean for the latest.
So calm down as we go into the overnight hours and into the morning hours of your Friday. Right now we are keeping an eye on a line of storms pushing into portions of Pike County, going into portions of Mingo and Logan County, as picked up here on live pinpoint Doppler radar. And you can kind of see over the past few hours the storm track, how it's taking that southwest to northeasterly approach. And with this, a little bit of hail has been picked up with this system. So we're going to monitor that as we go throughout the next few minutes. Flood watch is in effect for Lawrence County as well as Wayne County in West Virginia. This goes into effect until 7 o'clock Friday morning. And on top of that, we have some flood advisories, one for Magoffin, Morgan, and Wolfe County. This one goes into effect until 6:30, until 6 o'clock, or 8 o'clock, I should say, for Floyd, Johnson, another portion of Magoffin and Martin County, then another portion of Johnson and Martin County until 8:30 this evening. Now, just to the west of us, there is a tornado watch. Notice how some of this has expired early, but we still have it across portions of central and southern Indiana and across portions of the Commonwealth, something we're going to monitor as we go throughout the next several minutes. Notice on live pinpoint Doppler radar, though, we do have some tornado warnings just south of the Terre Haute, Indiana area. You see this pink shading right here. That means one has been observed near the Sullivan, Stockton, as well as the Haddon area. Now, again, for us here in eastern Kentucky, we do have a level 1 out of 6 on the tornado risk. And we'll talk about that coming up in the First Alert forecast in a few minutes. Steve.
All right, Eric, thank you. A Pike County woman escaped custody at the Pike County Detention Center yesterday, but is now back behind bars thanks to a partnership across state lines. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has the update.
Troopers with Kentucky State Police Post 9 say they were called when an inmate, 36-year-old Whitney Hurley, walked away from the Pike County Detention Center Wednesday evening.
If the judge tells you you're supposed to be in the Pike County Detention Center, then that's where you're supposed to be. So, you know, her charges, I believe, were some failure to appear, arrest warrants.
The detention center shared a statement Thursday saying Hurley was assigned to a work release role because of her nonviolent offenses, which is what she was doing when she disappeared.
Hurley was on the kitchen duty services in the jail.
Investigators say the escape happened after a contracted employee who works with the detention center left the building to take out trash.
She returned back in, door not properly shut, and Miss Hurley had went down to get some supplies for the kitchen, at which point, you know, may have noticed the door that was open and chance of opportunity.
After her disappearance, Trooper Michael Coleman shared a PSA which included a description of Hurley, who was wearing white shorts and a white shirt. And while the post was meant to help find her, he says those details left some people questioning how she got the change of clothes. But investigators say she was wearing them under her inmate uniform.
Those are items that you can purchase in the commissary, but she did have jail-issued pants on, which she removed before exiting the building.
Hurley was found Thursday morning in Rawl, West Virginia, where deputies with the Mingo County Sheriff's Office pursued her in a chase and charged her with being a fugitive from justice, fleeing with reckless indifference, and fleeing on foot. They also arrested Lena Cantrell of Matewan, West Virginia, who is charged with aiding and abetting in Hurley's escape.
And anytime we have something like this, you know, escapee or someone that may go over across state lines, they're very good about reaching out and trying to help us. And, you know, they see it on social media or see it on the news. And luckily they were able to locate Miss Hurley.
In Pike County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Hurley and Cantrell were both taken to the Southwestern Regional Jail in West Virginia. We now know the name of the man killed in a plant accident yesterday in Williamsburg. The coroner identified the man as 51-year-old Jake Henson of Corbin. Henson was an employee at the Firestone plant in Williamsburg. According to police, he was operating a piece of equipment when there was an accident with a standing rack. He He died from his injuries at the scene. Bridgestone released a statement following the accident saying it is under investigation and Bridgestone is offering assistance to its employees and contractors. The athletic director at Pikeville High School has resigned. Lucas Burchett also worked as the library media specialist at the school. Superintendent David Trimble says Burchett is no longer employed with the school district, alluding to an investigation into reports the school system received. Pikeville police confirm some officers were at the school today, but say no arrest was made. In Knox County, one man is facing charges after he was accused of spiking a woman's coffee with meth. On Monday, deputies received a report from the woman saying she had been assaulted. She told them on Christmas Day she woke up and started watching her child open a present while drinking coffee. She told them Sean Asher, seen there, her boyfriend, told her that she was, quote, about to find out what he had done. Police later talked to Asher, who admitted to putting meth in her coffee. He was charged with assault. A federal trial date was set for a woman charged with setting fire to a historic building in Jackson County. Sheila Clemens was charged with arson in the case. The incident happened last summer at the old Anvil Institute. The building housed Grace Covenant Ministries. Clemens' trial date was set for March 9th in London. Some new information just coming in about a story we told you about first last night at 11. Governor Andy Beshear has now signed Senate Bill 172 into law. The bill deals with energy costs and would help companies spread the cost of operations to customers over time instead of all at once. The bill becomes the first one in this legislative session to be signed into law by the governor. A bill in the State House that could save lives on the water moved one step closer to becoming law this morning. The House Standing Committee on Tourism and Outdoor Recreation passed House Bill 168 in Frankfort. It now heads to the full House for a vote. The bill aims to crack down on boating under the influence. It's sponsored by Representative Ken Fleming. Alex Ott with Mothers Against Drunk Driving pushed for a similar bill in the past, but legislators shot it down.
And at the time, I was told by an elected official that boating and drinking go hand in hand, and this was never going to happen in Kentucky. I wish that we had been able to make changes 15 years ago. I wish that people would have listened 15 years ago, because I wanted to be the last little girl this ever happened to.
Ott says in an ideal world, the laws would just say vessel, making no difference between a vehicle and a boat. But she says she is grateful just to see progress on the bill. The state of Kentucky could have a designated state mushroom soon, thanks to a determined group of students at Letcher County Central High School. WYMT's McKinley Calandrino spoke to the students who wrote letters to Senator Scott Maiden, who then filed Senate Bill 19.
What started as an extra credit assignment for Wayne Cottle's biology class soon became a project that would grow far beyond the classroom.
There was 3 questions. The first one was, what is the significance of a tree or a flower to represent a state? The second one was, should Kentucky have a state mushroom? And the third question was, what should the state mushroom be and why do you think it should be?
But those weren't the only questions asked, as this group had a bigger question for one state senator.
The first thing he said, do you know that we don't have a state named mushroom, which I didn't know that, which I was struck by the enthusiasm and actually the mushroom, the presentation they gave me and the videos, it shows rubbing the mushroom in different ways that it can turn blue. It actually turns blue.
Proposing the indigo milk cap to be designated as the official Kentucky state mushroom.
We just think it would be a good representation for Kentucky since it bleeds blue, like us Kentuckians.
If passed, this would be the first official state mushroom in Kentucky. But Senator Scott Maiden says this effort is more than just the fungi or history.
I just think it's a real strong message that, the General Assembly welcomes, kids to be part of the process. I know you never know, one of those kids may be the person that either replaces me or becomes a senator someday.
And for the students, the lesson went far beyond extra credit.
What I've learned from this is that it takes courage to speak up, but if you speak up, things can happen. Good things can happen most of the time. It just takes courage and the effort to make things happen.
From a biology assignment to Frankfurt, these students are learning that sometimes change starts in the classroom. In Letcher County, McKinley Calandrino, WYMT Mountain News.
The students will be in Frankfurt to present their presentation in front of the Economic Development Committee on Wednesday at 11 o'clock. A House bill designed to raise awareness about type 1 diabetes has passed through the Education Committee. House Bill 141 is sponsored by Derek Lewis of London. The measure would create guidelines for the Department of Education to develop high-quality informational material about type 1 diabetes for students, parents, as well as guardians. The bill now heads to the full House for consideration. A bill has been filed which would require the 10 Commandments be placed in all classrooms throughout Kentucky. House Bill 670 is co-sponsored by 4 Republican lawmakers, including Richard White out of the 99th District, which represents Elliott, Rowan, and Morgan counties. The language of the bill reads: a public school or public charter school would display a copy of the commandments by providing historical context in each elementary and secondary classroom.
All right, here's a look at live pinpoint Doppler radar. Right now, we are seeing a line of shower activity pushing into portions of Pike County, going into Mingo and Logan County. This is the break, and then we're going to get another round later on this evening. Details coming up.